Yes, ma'am. I walk back to the hall, knocking on Sid's door as I go by. Sid is my best friend. He lives with his grandmother in a brick house, smack dab in the middle of downtown Los Angeles. I swear, it's like a time machine. Turn the music down. Container filled to the brim with something bright red that smells like chili peppers. She herself always smells like some sort of spice. It's oddly comforting. Her mom owns a Mexican restaurant that everyone knows isn't good, but we all try to convince our families to eat there to keep her mom happy. We know that when her mom isn't happy, Karina has it harder. I think that this character, Karina, was probably Cha-Cha. I think they changed her name. I think she changed her name. Her mother has a spicy temper. Almost as hot as the pepper she uses in her salsa. Oh no, there is a Cha-Cha. When in Cha-Cha, eating the school lunch like me, but the boys mix everything together in a weird way. Pepperoni off the bottom, cut into little chunks of vegetables and mix it all with some apples and pickles. Then in Cha-Cha, desktop audio. That might have been the problem, was it was putting up my desktop audio. It shouldn't be. I think it was the desktop audio. Just better to my better mic. That's so weird. It wasn't supposed to pick up my desktop audio. I have that off in OBS. Weird. Okay. I silently relate, but we haven't spoken about it. Bright, come sit down, my man. Sid gestures to me, patting the table bench beside him. I sit down and try not to look at his hot Cheeto dust and marshmallow-coated fingers. As I'm eating my pizza, my thoughts start wandering. I'm not thinking about anything in particular, just about how... The music was a little loud, so I'm going to turn my... Oh, that's so weird. The music says... The bar is, like, barely moving. It shouldn't. I don't know why my mic is being so weird. That's so weird. Oh, my keyboard is put away. Maybe this will help. I'm turning it up. That should be better. I'm not thinking about anything in particular, just about how Elliot hasn't eaten yet and the pizza already looks dry, so he probably won't like it. Or how Lynn keeps trying to dip his own pepperoni-less pizza in Karina's mysterious pepper mixture, maybe to revive it from the dryness. Watching my surroundings is always enjoyable. I watch what's happening all around me while I wait for everything to happen like clockwork. There are these groups of students that come into the cafeteria quietly singing songs to themselves from whichever musical they're putting on at that moment. This time, it happens to be the 25th annual Putnam Country Spelling Bee. They have a rehearsal before lunch because the songs seem fresh in their minds. They're singing what I think is their opening number to the show this time. I'm not exactly sure. What I'm sure about is the song is literally about spelling and winning spelling bees. Elliot and Brighton Anderson, please report to the office. Bring your things. You'll be leaving for the day. Usually they have a teacher do that, not the loudspeaker. More proof that Sunny has not gone to high school. She thinks the loudspeaker tells people to go to the office. Chimes over the loudspeaker, interrupting the light hum of their voices. I stand up and quickly dump my tray, gazing back at our lunch table. My friends are all waving, looking both thrilled and jealous I'm leaving. My thoughts jump back to last week when Mom suddenly packed her things up and left. She hasn't gone on a trip since she left my father. She hasn't gone on a trip since me and my father were still together, so it's nice she got to go, even if it was for my great-aunt's funeral. Small things remind me of my dad. When Mom was leaving, it was like I was back when I was a kid, watching Dad spontaneously pack up his things and leave an attempt to try and win Ma over after not being faithful to her. Making her beg him to come back to help take care of us is not a good feeling to relive. Dude. Okay. Mom worked every day. When I was younger and Elliot was just a baby, things were different. We had new backpacks every year, and we would eat out as a family 1 or 2 times a week. But when Dad left, he took everything. He was our breadwinner. We fell hard below the poverty line. Mom worked every day to try and keep us blind to the obvious changes. It worked for Elliot. I wasn't so lucky. I see Elliot walking ahead, almost to the front office. I run up behind him and grasp the office door above his head, swinging it open. He jumps back, startled, but tries to play it off. I don't think Sunny has ever been to a high school, or at least not long enough to understand what's happening. He jumps back, startled, but tries to play it off. Mom's standing in front of the reception desk, signing our names out on many miscellaneous forms. Mom, Elliot exclaims, hugging her. Hey, I say, grabbing Elliot's backpack from him, swinging it onto my shoulder over my backpack strap. Good luck, Miss Anderson. Boys, it was great having you here, the receptionist says to us as we walk out the big glass doors leading up to the parking lot. Mom, what was up with that? What was she talking about? Dude, how old are they supposed to be? I think, like, between 14 and 16. They don't seem that much older. I mean, clearly they're idiots. Ma, what was up with that? What was she talking about? I question her as we get closer and closer to the car. Get in and we'll talk, Ma says, opening the driver's side door with a mysterious smile. When I get in the car, there are multiple suitcases in the back seat. Not just the one Mom took with her, along with some blankets and pillows crammed into the space between the floor and the back of her seat. There's barely enough room for Elliot. What's going on, Mom? Are we going somewhere? Elliot asked, tugging on one of the suitcase handles. Mom turns on the car. Usually when the car turns on, the radio is already playing softly, but this time it isn't. Mom drove here with no music. She told me when I was little, a day without music is a day I won't want to live. I've felt that same way since. The quiet air of the car only being filled with the slight rattle of the engine is unsettling. Boys, this might feel sudden to you, but trust your mama on this. She pauses and clears her throat. I went to the will reading while I was in Connecticut, and your great aunt has left us her home and her savings. I can tell she's struggling to tell us what she wants to. I can tell she's struggling to tell us what she wants to. I think the two is a mistake. I think she's struggling to tell us what she wants. The house is really nice, she finishes, suddenly excited. So we're going to Connecticut? Elliot chirps, matching her enthusiasm. Okay. So we're going to Connecticut? Elliot chirps, matching her enthusiasm. We're telling and not showing. You should say he smiled. Oh, he acted. She's so bad at this. Yes, dear, we're going to be headed to the airport right now, Ma says, looking over her shoulder to the back seat. So when are we coming back? How long will we be there, I ask, hoping it won't be for long. I mean, how long would it take to sell a house? Mom's first priority is always us. Not missing any school, and more importantly, I promised I'd help out with the bus tables at Karina's I would help out and bus tables at Karina's restaurant next weekend. Right? Like, dude, my parents did that to me, like, 1 year. We just, like, switched schools because they're insane. I was so pissed. I was freaking out in the car. At least my parents let me go back for one more day. And, like, clearly she knew this was happening beforehand. She could have called ahead. Do we have to sign something? Why do we have to go? Kids usually don't help sell houses. I chuckle, grabbing my seatbelt to buckle it. Dude, this kid is so stupid. Sid's grandma wouldn't mind us for another week, if anything. She would like us to stay longer, considering I end up doing a lot of household chores when I'm there. I must not have been clear, Mom says, clearing her throat. She looks at me straight in the eye. These are 3 one-way tickets to Connecticut. Your great aunt left us a house much nicer than our apartment here. We'll be moving indefinitely. She tries an encouraging smile. No way, Elliot exclaims as he jolts back and forth in his seat in excitement. How does one jolt back and forth? Mom shifts gears as we prepare to leave the school parking lot. I grab her hand over the stick to discourage her. What do you think you're doing, Brighton? She says as she tries to move her hand. Do I not get a say in this situation? I say purposefully, staring down at mine and Elliot's backpacks on the floor near my feet to avoid looking at her. I'm 17, I continue. Oh, he's 17. Looking... I know, right? He can't say goodbye to any of his friends. That's so fucked up. This mom is evil. She definitely knew. I've made the decision for us and for you. Mom says as she rips her hand out from under mine. I scream into the air, venting my frustration, kicking the backpacks at my feet I open the door. What does he buy? Where do you think you're going? Mom shouts as I get out of the car anywhere. I shout into the parking lot, walking away from the car. My mind is racing with the thought of leaving. I walk through the school hallways that I used to feel at home in. How did he get past the office security? What the hell? I walk through the school hallways that I used to feel at home in. Everything feels like it's getting ripped away from me. Nothing in my control. I hurry back to the cafeteria, but everyone is gone. I must have been in the car longer than I thought. I try to hurry to think of what classes everyone has right now. Sid, I whisper to myself, pacing up and down the rows of cafeteria tables. Band! Sid has band after lunch. I remember that he always complains about getting Cheeto residue on his clarinet. Are these memories I'm going to go look back on when I'm across the country? I walk up to the band room and see Sid sitting on the old couch, fussing about with his sheet music. Hesitant, I open the door and fast walk over to him, trying not to catch the attention of other students. Now, of course, this is high school, and when you walk into a class you're not in, everyone thinks you're insane and stares at you. Oh my gosh, this kid, he's not the brightest. I approached it. Does he not have a phone? This was written in 2019. Like, he would have a phone, right, at 17? Why doesn't he text his friend Sid? Hey man, forgot something? Or forget something? He says, tugging his beanie down over his ears. He looks directly... Well, she's never been into school. You are not allowed to wear hats in the building. Oh my gosh. He looks directly at me for the first time since I walked in the room, and his expression changes. Sid, man, help. I say out of breath from walking halfway across the campus. What's going on, man? Sid says as he puts both of his hands on my shoulder and starts pushing me towards the door. I need somewhere to go, somewhere to stay. I don't know, man. You gotta help me, please, I say frantically as Sid closes the band room behind us, trying not to disturb everyone's practice. Sid grabs me gently by the back of the neck and walks me to the boys' bathroom. No one cares about literally high school. Literally, yeah. Like, nobody cares. Like, at most, the teacher will, like, announce, like, what are you doing in here? But this is, like, post-COVID. Not post, pre-COVID. Nobody cares. Like, you could just walk in a room and teacher's like, oh, did you forget something? Everyone's like, oh, like, class just started. Like, whatever. But, like, everyone stares at you like you're crazy. Nobody cares. In front of the... I move the trash can in front of the door. Sid hops up on the sink counter, pulling a single bent cigarette and lighter out of his pocket and lighting it. It was almost routine. Me securing the bathroom so Sid can smoke without getting caught by a teacher. We've been doing it every day without fail since sophomore year. It was our bonding time. He told me about what girl he was trying to get with that week. I'd complain about something unrelated. I sit down on the floor next to the trash can and tell Sid the events of what just occurred. Sid is so weird, I think to myself as he ponders what I just told him. He seems to always have a single cigarette, a lighter, and without fail, every single day, he wears mismatched socks, sometimes with mismatched shoes to match. I've never seen him with a pack of cigarettes, and I know he doesn't have any pocket money most weeks, so it's a mystery where he gets the single cigarette from. When I first met Sid, I wasn't so sure about him. He was just a strange new kid, nothing to offer me. But I learned that he's really smart and always capable of saying something that will take me by surprise. Some of those saying has stuck with me to this day. Got a piece of paper? Sid asked as he slid his beanie off his head. My cat is trying to eat a box. Hold on. Yeah, he was munching on the cardboard. Got a piece of paper? Sid asked as he slides his beanie off his head. I handed him a gum wrapper that I had in my pocket from earlier this morning. He pulls the tiniest nub of a pencil out from behind his ear. What? How do you wear... What? Why did he have a pencil under his beanie? What the hell? How's his ear holding it up if it's so small? How did it not come out with the beanie? It begins to write something on the paper. Here, he says calmly, snapping me out of my daydream and handing me back the gum wrapper. 10821 North Westwood Boulevard is written on it in his surprisingly tidy handwriting. Lay low until school is out. The others and I will meet you there. Don't go back to Grand's. Your mom will probably be there looking for you. Dude, okay, so how did Sid know his mom was looking for him? How did Sid know that his mom would be looking for him? He didn't explain the situation. He just said, hey, I need a place. Is Sid a mind reader? He says as he puts his cigarette out in the sink. He slouches his beanie back onto his head. I notice I move the trash can away from the door. Sid goes back to his band class, and I hear the quiet notes of his clarinet fade as I walk out of school. Westwood is pretty far from here, but not so far that I don't think I can walk there. After some sketchy miles along the side of the freeway, seeing some colorful graffiti and a sewer rat, I made my way to the house. It took about an hour, but gave me time to clear my head. The Westwood house is a shabby one-story with boards on the windows that look right out of a horror movie. Dude, he's going to a crack house. When I try the front door, I find it locked, but there's a small metal gate in the yard that seems to lead back to a garden area. There I see what's left of a broken glass sliding door with some faded Looney Tunes sheet nailed up in front of it, acting as the door. The inside of the house isn't much nicer. I flip on the light switch and the light doesn't turn on, just as I was expecting. There's a few beanbag chairs scattered about the room and some cardboard boxes tipped upside down with ashtrays placed on them. I look in the kitchen to see exposed water pipes and empty beer cans sitting on the counter as the tile flooring is peeling up and cracking. I step in to investigate further and almost step on a Babe Ruth baseball card. Picking it up, I see it's one of his rookie cards. I recognize it because I gave Sid the same one. Dude, he's in a crack house. As I turn around to go back into the area where the beanbag chairs are, a pigeon startles me. It made a mess in the open cabinets. I drop the baseball card and run into a corner of the kitchen as it flies out into the living room, eventually making its way past the faded Looney Tunes. Dude, Brighton is scared of pigeons. Once the shock has faded, I reach for the baseball card on the floor once again, which this time is turned over from all the rackets. I noted some faded Sharpie on the back. I pick up the card and walk over to the door to get some extra light. I want to try and make it out. Bright plus Sid forever. The memory of my horrible middle school handwriting makes me immediately realize this must be the place where Sid and his older college friends come to hang out when they have nowhere else to go. He told me about it at the same time this baseball card obsession slowly turned into a chicks like guys who play baseball obsession. He once told me about the time his baseball buddy scored with a bunch of girls from the rival school freshman year here. Oh my god. They had a huge party and everyone got super wasted. I guess the cops are called and everything. Sometimes I'm envious of Sid's crazy lifestyles. Other times I wonder how he manages to keep up with it all at only 17. Pigeons though? You get, like, scared. Bro, like, ran from a pigeon. Birds are evil, but, like, parrots are evil. I've met parrots. What's up, my man? How you doing? Sid screams as he and his friends enter the house. I'm startled after sitting here in silence for a few hours. Hours? Dude, how long is your freaking school day? I can tell his friend... Okay, so he got there in an hour. It would have been like a couple hours. Few hours? Is his school day like 9 hours long? 10 hours long? What time does his school get out? 6? I'm startled after sitting here in silence for a few hours. I can tell... Did he not have a phone to play on? I can tell his friends were surprised to see me, almost as if Sid was a traitor for showing me this place. Right, like, Sid does not sound like a good friend. Oh my gosh. Sid, man, you said this was our secret fighting grounds, exclaimed the tallest one of the bunch. I recognized him from school. Joker, man, you can't say anything about not keeping secrets. Remember when you told me about your cousin and spin the bottle in middle school? I told you that in confidence, Joker shouts. And this is an emergency, so we both have problems now, don't we? Dude, what the hell? Where are the others? That cat is so evil. Where are the others? I asked Sid as he walks past the kitchen to the hallway leading to what I assume was once the bedroom, but are now rooms filled with piles of trash. Cornelia and Lynn went to your apartment complex to scope it out to see if your mom is home. And Concha went home to see if she can borrow your foster brother's Camaro for the night. Sid says as he lights what isn't a cigarette. Hold on, someone's knocking my door real quick. My roommate's daughter really likes my cats, but she can't play with them right now. She's too loud, unfortunately. Concha went home to see if she can borrow her foster brother's Camaro for the night. Sid says as he lights what isn't a cigarette. "You want a hit?" he asks when he notices me watching him closely as he loudly exhales a cloud of smoke. I've never been one to be very adventurous. The riskiest thing I've ever done is sneak into a second movie after the movie I paid finished in 8th grade. You just ran away. I'm pretty sure this is pretty risky. Yeah, she's telling my roommate's child to, like, knock on my door. She's telling my cats to eat cardboard. She's telling them do whatever evil activities they're doing. They're always like this. I watch as Sid deeply inhales the smoke and blows it into the room, creating a sort of dreamlike haze everywhere you look. And something comes over me, the urge to not be me for one moment, an urge to forget all of my problems, an urge to just go completely in a way I've never had before. I stand up and walk over to Sid as he passes me the joint, making sure to place it between my thumb and index finger. He begins to roll a few more from a small baggie of pot that seems to have magically appeared from inside his beanie. Dude, why does he keep everything in his beanie? It makes me wonder if the crazy bastard has that there at school too. Everyone in the room stares at me since I'm clearly new to this. If I wasn't intimidated before, all these older guys I don't know intently watching me, I am now. I bring the joint closer to my lips, breathing it in and holding the smoke inside my body for a few seconds. I feel warm. I feel fuzzy. When I exhale, it isn't as beautiful as Sid's. I choke and grasp for air as Sid passed my bag. Ugh. And laughs. It feels like one of the worst things I've ever experienced. I can't imagine why somebody wouldn't do this voluntarily to do this to themselves. Hi, buddy. Walking on my keyboard now, too? Come here, baby. You want to? I'll show you. I'll show you my cat, actually, because he's an asshole. No, don't lay down. Come here. Whoa, you're so fat. Butcher, look at the camera. It's a bag of holding, yeah. Alright, go, Evil. Oh, you got attacked. Oopsie. An hour or so goes by and the joint gets passed around to me a few times. I'm feeling good, but nothing like I expected. And when I heard Sid talk about smoking, I always felt like I would be very giggly, but I feel calm, almost as if I'm being warmed from the inside and out by the sun on a nice summer day. She has clearly never tried weed before, because that's not what it feels like. You do get giggly. It's getting darker and darker in the house as the sunset grows dim outside. We hear a car pull into the driveway. Sid and I walk outside, leaving his stoner friends inside to finish smoking what's left of the weed. It was an enjoyable experience. I almost forgot about the whole reason I even came into the house. Almost. Good news, Karina says as she raises her hand in the air. She's almost silhouetted by what's left of the sunset behind her. She's wearing a cropped hat that only barely reaches her belly button, and when she raises her hands, I can almost see under her shirt. Dude, what the hell? I notice she has bruises right under her bra. Brother! What? Your mom's car wasn't in the complex and all the lights in your apartment were off, she shouts as Lynn rolls down the backseat window to the Camaro. We'll have to squeeze, he says. His voice gets quieter as he scoots away from the window. Sid hops in the passenger seat and I shimmy my way into the backseat, sitting on Lynn's lap. Oh my god, she really wants to do the nasty to these children. He smells like cologne and slightly like coffee. It's nice. Lynn is the latest addition to our friend group. He's got a muscular physique and his jawline is very square cut. When he moved into the same foster family as Concha, we didn't think twice about accepting him as our own. Right? Why are we unnecessary boob mention? The streetlight on the roads are turning on as the sky, and like, we did not need to describe this minor's jawline. She's a teenager, because she goes to the same school as them. They're all teenagers. They're all younger than 17. The streetlights on the roads are turning on as the sky gets darker and darker. Sid and Karina are both having their own talk fest, and Concha is focusing on driving. That stupid name. Who picked Concha? This is such a bad name. And Concha is focusing on driving. I hear bits and pieces of Sid and Karina's conversation over the sound of the loud Camaro engine, but not enough to join in. Concha slows down the car as we pull up to my apartment complex. The lights are still off as we approach our building, and Ma's car is still gone. I'm slightly worried that she's not home, but doubtful she would go into Connecticut without me. Right? Like, oh, I see bruises under her bra. Dude, you could have done that on her arms. You could have done that on her legs. You could have done that in any other way. Or even better, don't describe, like, how she looks. Describe how she acts. Like, oh, tell, don't show. Like, she's telling, not showing. Or she's showing, not telling. No. I forgot how it goes. Yeah. She's telling without showing. She just says. Like, she's very, very, very implying it poorly. As I walk up the steps, oh no, that's not it. But I'm very doubtful she would go to Connecticut without me. I have no idea where she could be. As the car comes to a full stop, I hop out and head towards the front steps of my building. I see Lynn through the car window. He scoots over and readjusts for me, having me sat on his legs for so long. Why is he sitting on his lap? Karina scoots over into the now empty space. As I walk up the steps, I'm struck with emotion. The feeling of being alone. If I don't go with Mom and Elliot, then I really will be alone. I can't expect my friends to be with me all the time, even though I wish they could be. I reach down and get the spare key from under the ceramic frog lawn ornament that we have next to our front door. Oof. I left mine in my backpack in Mom's car, along with my cell phone and any spare change I had. Why didn't you, like, if I knew that what I was going to do when I got out of the car was, like, run away from home, I probably would have grabbed my cell phone and my money. I have run away before. That is what you take. Like, that's your first thought when you run away is, like, okay, what do I need? Especially if you plan ahead, even for a minute. Especially if you have it on you. Come on, bro. The inside of the apartment smells like home, like a fresh shirt just taken out of the dryer. I can see dishes, presumably from Mom's lunch, sitting in the sink. Everything feels untouched. What? So, okay, so they're not even packed up to move all the way. So she was just gonna, like, desert this apartment and everything in it and just go to Connecticut. No moving truck, no nothing. Just, like, leave it all behind. As I look closer, I can see some things are missing. Ma's favorite throw blanket isn't on the couch, and a chunk of Elliot's comics seem to go missing from the bookshelf next to the TV. She must have packed them up in our suitcases this morning before she came to get us. I grab a grocery bag from under the sink and walk slowly down the hall to my bedroom, trying to take in every creak of the floor. Smells like home. Well, I hate to break it to you, but you are at home. And it's probably going to smell like that. And crack in the walls. Since I might never hear or see them again, I quickly change out of my sweaty clothes, throwing my pants and shirt onto the floor of my closet. I grab a pile of somewhat clean clothes off the ground and shove them into the plastic grocery bag. Dude, what are my cats doing? They're trying to knock over the PlayStation. That's awesome. Dude! Stop it! My cats are evil. I don't know what they're doing. I rush outside and join the others in the car again. We have a surprise for you, Lynn says while I hop in the back seat as he puts his arm over my shoulder. Karina pulls up her bright green corduroy JanSport backpack from our feet and pulls out more than a half a bottle of vodka. Oh my god, why are they drinking? And I see Sid in the front holding up a bottle of Sunny D. Okay, so they just had these on them for no reason and... Oh my gosh. Right? Like, when I moved when I was poor, like, it just because we couldn't afford a moving truck one of the times that we moved, so we packed, like, everything we owned up into the car. Like, everything. We did one trip in our little tiny BMW car and just did that. Like, you don't need to have a moving truck, but you don't just take one suitcase of clothes. Like, stuff like that is so expensive to get back, too. Like, couches, beds, and stuff, those are so expensive. There's no better way to forget your problems than to go get so smashed you forget your own name, Sid exclaims as he explains as Chancha starts the car and drives out of the complex. Dude, why are they drinking and smoking? Like, ugh. My cat is eating a Pokemon plushie. Like, wrestling with it. That's actually cute. I take a sip and it tastes weird but familiar. Oh, no, that's not it. Contra makes a ruckus from the front seat about making sure she's not spilling in the car. Sid then adds enough sanity to top off the bottles and hands me one out to each of us. I take a sip and it tastes weird but familiar. The vodka burns my tongue and nose as I swallow, but the crisp, cold orange... How is the orange juice cold? Where did they get cold orange juice from? Orange juice. The orange taste of Sunny makes the brutal burn nicely. I look at the window, and I see that the sky is more overcast than before. I realize that we're heading towards the ocean. I lean back and I close my eyes, listening to the sound of my friends chattering and having a good time. I feel good. My troubles are slowly slipping away as my bottle begins to empty. I open my eyes and see the blurry lights in the distance out the front windshield. I rub my eyes to clear the view, and I see the Ferris wheel. The Santa Monica Pier is right in front of me. They went to, like, LA to Santa Monica so fast. I don't think Twinbuns has ever been to California. More than LA. I don't think she's been outside of LA. Surprise, man. We're gonna get wasted and ride roller coasters till we puke. Isn't it, like, the middle of the night? The pier is closed. The lights are as bright as I exit the car, brighter than I've ever seen before. The world is spinning faster than normal as everyone walks arm in arm down the pier. Also, if you're drunk on the pier, they'll just kick you out. Like, they'll tell you to leave. Oh, especially if you're a kid. They don't like drunk kids at the pier. I look at the ocean. It's calm and peaceful, a stark contrast with the spinning lights being reflected on the water surface from the various carnival rides. We ride the roller coasters as many times as we could all afford with what change we had in our pockets. You didn't have change in your pockets. Oh my gosh. My stomach is in knots, but the only one who looks green is Sid. And that sick bastard is absolutely loving it. We're all making our way to exit the pier because it's nearing midnight and everyone is leaving. Lynn yanks me aside and pulls 2 ride tickets out of his pocket. We stumble behind the base of a palm tree to separate us from the others. We hide, duck down, looking at each other for a few seconds. I can feel his breath hitting my face as he breathes heavily. How is his mom not filed a Yeah, I think when I ran away, my parents didn't even like me. I think it only took them like an hour. Like, it took them an hour to like, file a police report from the time I disappeared. Like, his mom would be looking for him. I don't know where his mom would even be right now. Like, at the airport. She's not even done packing. As he breathes heavily, his warm breath has a potent hardness from the vodka. We sneakily run to the Ferris wheel and board immediately for the last run of the night. We sit across from each other, taking in the view of the beach. We can see Venice in the distance. People are walking around lit only by streetlights. What are you going to do, Brighton? Lynn asks as I look back at him. Looking out at the ocean, I stare at his face. It's flushed red from running around the pier. I'm scared and I'm confused. I don't want to think about it. Neglectful parenting court, like, legit. Does his mom, like, straight up not like him? If it's, like, such a big deal, why doesn't he talk to her and be like, okay, well, can I live here with Sid's grandma? Like, I've basically been doing that already. And, like, there's other options. He did not have to run away. I'm scared and I'm confused. I don't want to think about it, I say as I lean back, trying not to rock the Ferris wheel trolley. I'll give you something else to think about, Lynn says with a more serious tone. You have a mother and a little brother, a family. Me? Sure, I have my foster sister, but she can be taken away from us any day. My life is temporary, ever-changing. A roller coaster, he says, looking over the roller coaster. Has now gone dark. If I had to make a choice like yours to stay here and live like me, or leave all this behind and have something permanent, I think you know what I would choose. Dude, these are not comparable. What? Hi. My cat's yelling at me. Come here, buddy. Look at this one. Come here. Oh, hello. Yeah, you happily lay on the book. Oh. No laying on the book, though. Bye, buddy. He stops talking as the Ferris wheel reaches the top. We look out at everything. The lights of the city are bright, and the people on the ground are so small. I can't make out where Sid or Karina are. Everyone is just a small, insignificant dot. I look at Lynn, who, to my surprise, is staring at me. We make eye contact. He gently slides over to my side of the trolley and rests his head on my shoulder. I rub his shaven scalp with my hand, feeling each and every pointy hair as the Ferris wheel jerks back into motion and we're slowly brought back down to the reality. Yeah, clearly. She wants to write a movie so bad. I don't know why she didn't just write, like, a script. It probably would have been better, honestly, because she can't show within writing at all. She likes to tell. We meet back up to Sid and the others in the parking lot. Did none of them, were looking for them either? Because if my friend went missing for more than 2 minutes on the pier without saying anything, my first thing, drunk too, my first thought would have been oh, they've been kidnapped. Especially in LA. Bro got kidnapped. I would not be oh, whatever. Dude, why are you on my keyboard again? Get off the keyboard. Stop it. Stop it. This cat is evil. He's trying to dox me. Oh, he's heavy too. He's trying to show everyone my backpack with my last name on it. Evil kitty. Right? Hey, me, you, let's go sneak off one-on-one time. I think she was trying to imply it, but she did it really poorly. Especially if, we're supposed to be able to hear, Brighton's thoughts. She's not doing a good job of, telling us how he's feeling or describing to us how he feels. The only time we get his emotions is when he's telling other characters through dialogue, oh, I'm scared, I'm confused, I don't want to talk about it. You're not describing the way he acts. He should be acting scared. Instead, he's drinking and doing drugs. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Rubbing his hair on the Ferris wheel. That's weird. We meet back up with Sid and the others in the parking lot. Concha is in the driver's seat, chugging some water in an attempt to sober up before driving back to Stoner Shack. Drinking and driving. Okay. Lynn and I hop in the back seat with Karina. We buckle up our seatbelts and take off to the now dark but yellowly lit streets of Santa Monica. The roads are pretty calm compared to the usual traffic. A few cars pass us every couple minutes, which is good because Concha is a little tipsy. Twinbuns does not know how to write high schoolers. Oh, she's still not 100%. And any other day, if I were completely in my right mind, I wouldn't have even gotten in the car. Today, I don't have a care in the world. The ride back to the house is calm. It's almost serene. I feel safe, even though I shouldn't. We pull up to the house, and my peaceful thoughts are suddenly the furthest thing from my mind. The house is surrounded by cops and at least 3 squad cars. Concha, go, don't stop the car, Sid yells as we pull up to the house. Startled, Concha stomps on the brakes right in front of the house. I see my mom's car on the drive. How did they find Stoner Shack? Concha is pulled from the front seat by a cop, and we're all instructed to leave the vehicle with our hands up. I step out and I see my mom exit one of the squad cars. She has a very intense look on her face, one I've never seen before. The angriest I think I've ever seen her is when I got a C- on an advanced chemistry exam. That's him, that's my son, she shouts at the direction of the police officers. I'm pulled aside by a cop who smells like a stale cigar smoke. Now, ma'am, your son is 17. The only reason he won't be booked is because Wait, everyone else is probably going to get arrested. We're releasing him into your care. The policeman says with an overly stern voice, the smell of cigar is way more repulsive than scent of weed earlier. I see Sid and Lynn are getting handcuffs out of the side of my eye. I can see Lynn has a total rock. Total, Lynn can total rock. She misspelled totally. Lynn can total rock the bad boy delinquently. That's supposed to be totally. Right? Like, clearly they know that they were there. And they probably talked to, like, the other people that they are probably arrested. So they would know, like, oh, they're in a red Camaro. Like, dude. My mom runs up to me and hugs me, wrapping her hands around my head. I shove her off me and I turn away. Don't you ever do anything like this again. Don't you ever, she says over and over, her words slowly fading out. Don't force me to move. Why can't you understand that this is the this is the best for all of us? My mother is screaming at this point. Our apartment is falling apart. Your brother's ceiling is falling in. I didn't even want to go back there to look for you. You're lucky I did, though, or I would have never found this. She holds up a gum wrapper Sid wrote on earlier. What? Oh my god. How did he drop the gum wrapper? Our kitchen is so small, I have to wash our dishes in our bathtub. I'm done throwing our money into a shoebox that I can barely stand on its own. She keeps going on and on about how our apartment is in worst with a T shape than the Titanic itself. Dude, even in the second edition, there's still, like, insane misspelling. She's misspelled totally. She misspelled totally as total on page 21. She used worst instead of worse on page 22. Like, this is still so bad. Ma, I like it here. Oh, I like it there. Honestly, kid is someone. Right? Like, it is so, like, reasonable to be, like, upset and maybe run away, but, like, doing drugs, drinking, like, that's insane. And he's never done that before. Like, I would be like, dude, are you trying, like, to get out of moving because you want to keep doing this with your friends? Like, ugh. Our kitchen is so small, I have to wash our dishes in the bathtub. That's insane. Mom, I like it there. It's where I grew up. It's where I made all my friends. Why is he using there? We're still here. Ugh. It's where you've marked Elliot's height over the past 14 years. Oh, Elliot is 14. I feel the need to stand my ground and express that I'm not going to back down. Brighton, let's think about this. Great Aunt Deborah lived on 3 acres of land. Her horse, when I was a kid, went as far as the eye could see. It's the sort of house that calls for a family to live in it. Are you really going to make us go? Why doesn't she sell the house and buy something in LA? Like, even if it is, like, a small little condo, that way they won't have to move. And, like, the difference between Connecticut, like, they don't even specify what part of Connecticut, but they said it, like, country. So, like, clearly there's not going to be a lot of job opportunities. Like, you're going to run out of money. Are you really going to make me go? I ask in a final attempt to convince her to stay. Is the sky blue? She gives me an eye. I look to see everything around me. Sid and Lynn are in the back of a cop car. Concha is in cuffs, sitting on the curb, blowing into a breathalyzer. Half a dozen of Sid's stoner friends are now being escorted out of the shack, along with a large bong. This is all my fault. Everything that happened today was because of my selfishness. But still, I don't want this to be it. That was terrible. Okay. Next chapter. Chapter 2. This is one of the longest car rides ever. This is one of the longest car rides. I feel like it's... Hold on. This is one of the longest car rides. I feel... She's missing a comma. First sentence of the chapter, missing a comma. I feel like I've ever taken. Wait, no. This is one of the longest car rides I feel like I've ever taken. I think the I feel like could have been removed, because that does not make sense here. I look over at my mother, then back to Elliot. All I want to do is scream at the top of my lungs. I feel like I'm being dragged away against my will to a foreign country. It might as well be. I've never been to Connecticut. My family has never had the money to travel, except for one time when my dad was living with us, and he didn't even pay for it fully ourselves. I wish Dad was here, I say, to break the silence. But I know, like, Grammarly existed in 2019. The multiple misspellings in the first chapter is crazy. This is the second edition, too. So this was her second chance to go through and correct all of it, and she still didn't. Like, it's not hard. I wish Dad was here. I say to break the silence. Brian Anderson, what did you just say to me? My mother slams on the brakes on the surprisingly empty highway. I wish Dad were here. You know what? Your father is probably out with his new girlfriend. He doesn't have time to care about what's going on in his son's lives. Damn. I'm shocked. She never speaks so openly about Dad. Mom, I shout back. Not this again. I feel like Twinbuns wrote this kind of out of experience. I feel like she might have said this to her mom at some point. I think maybe that's why they don't get along. Elliot, please don't, she tells him, sticking her hand into the back seat, placing it on his knee. Brian, you will not say another word till we get to the airport. Word, I say, peering into her eyes intently. Dude, okay. Child abuse, but, slap him. Slammed on the brakes on the highway, girl's gonna go. Yeah, it is illegal. Also, why would she slam on the brakes? At that moment, that doesn't even, make sense. I get, oh, she was surprised, she's gonna freak out. But, she could pull over to the shoulder. She could do anything else. Oh, my gosh. Suddenly, out of nowhere, I feel a sharp cut of a ring on my cheek. Oh, thank God, yeah. My mother is backhanded me for the first time. I am being kind of an ass, but I don't think it justifies slapping me in the face. Dude, this kid, he kind of deserved it. I won't lie. I don't condone child abuse, but I think he did deserve that. You want to get smart again? Screw off. I turn to the door, leaning against the window. My mind's racing. I can't keep my thoughts straight. Probably a result of the alcohol I drink. I'm sure the pot isn't helping either. I don't think Twinbuns has ever drinking or smoked pot in her life. This isn't good. Do I have to get on a plane like this, I wonder? Would they even let me on in this state? Could this be my way out? Could this be my time buyer? I look over at my mom. I know this probably isn't the best idea, but arguably, I say, I'm drunk. I cross my arms, bracing for another slap. If you're smart, you really won't say another word this time. She doesn't take her eyes off the road. Hallelujah, for real. I look at the window, taking all the sights in. I realize that will be the last time I see any of this for a while. I never realized... Wait, how did she backhand him if they're sitting next to each other? Did she, swing her arm like this? And hit him? Dude, that's not really a backhand, though. That doesn't make sense. That's okay. That's okay. He still deserved it. I never thought I'd enjoy... They just said there was no traffic on this highway. I never thought I'd enjoy traffic on the 405, but at this moment, it feels more like home than anything else. You just said it was empty. What? Who would have thought the crazy drivers were something I was gonna miss? Who knows what this town in Connecticut is gonna be like, or what people will be like. Will they be nice? The people in Los Angeles are, but that's what I like. I don't like people being fake to my face. Yeah, clearly, she, bent her arm to then slap him. She's magic. It's okay. But that's what I like. I don't like people being fake to my face. I'd much rather someone look me in the eyes and tell me they don't like my hair instead of them telling me they like it because they don't want to make me feel bad. Sometimes it's nice to be blunt instead of sugarcoating things. That was one of the many lessons I learned from my father over the years. I really do feel like that the parents in this book kind of represent Twinbuns' parents. I really hate to... I don't want to, make any conclusions on her life, but... The dad glazing in this book is kind of insane. He was described very, very early on in the book as a cheater. That's not a good quality. If you want people to feel bad for the dad instead of the mom, then, make people feel bad for the dad instead. Have the mom be described as the cheater, not the dad. We're about 15 minutes away from the airport now. I can't stand this. All I want to do is tuck and roll out of the car into the highway. Death seems a bit more fitting than my current circumstance. You're so dramatic. I've only flown once. It was an amazing trip. Mom, Dad, myself, and Elliot went to France. It was a surprise for us boys. My parents got married when my mom was pregnant with me. Partially for societal reasons, partially for love. Everyone knew that, but everyone also knew that my mom and dad didn't have a lot of money. And dad had more money than mom does now. But we weren't rich by any means, so they couldn't afford a honeymoon. Dad was a dentist. His parents made him go to dental school. They wanted the perfect doctor's son, but my dad wasn't into the whole blood and guts thing, so he took the dental route. It was a small clinic, very mom and pop style. Some of the other dentists in the practice had a few of my mom's friends pitch in and help send us on trips to go to one place my mother always wanted to go. Paris. See, like, even the describing of Paris, like, Twinbuns said that her middle name is Cherie because her mom liked Paris. I really can't help to think that these are just her parents in this book, and this is supposed to be, like, a self-insert story. Like, it might actually be. Like, didn't she say she moved, like, from one city in Arizona to another? It really just might be her life story. His parents made him go to da-da-da. Not that. The flight from LAX to Charles de Gaulle is roughly 11 hours. They do, actually. Yeah, because, yeah, there is a lot of bloods. And, like, you do surgery as a dentist. It might not be his specialty, but dentists make a fuck ton of money. Even, like, dental assistants make a lot of money. It's, like, one of the best careers to go into. Like, if you want to, like, do something medical, but not do medicine. And, like, especially if, like, this is LA, a dentistry in LA, they would also probably do, like, cosmetic stuff. Like, cosmetic dental surgery is insanely expensive, and insurance doesn't cover it. Thankfully, LAX flies with Air France, so the flights were a bit cheaper. Flying over the ocean was terrifying. You usually don't take an LA flight to France. There's usually an overlay. That's okay. Maybe Twinbuns doesn't know that. I was scared. The plane would crash into the ocean. I was worried we had gone on the wrong flight. When you're flying over land, it's so cool. It looks like just how maps look. People in movies always make fun of how the land looks when they're above. Because it looks weirdly shaped, squares and rectangles. But it's true. That's what it really looks like. How would he know? He just said he's only went on one flight to Paris. Is he saying this now? Because why is it in past tense? Elliot didn't care much for flying his first... Yeah, we're still talking about the France flight. Okay. Well, she's not very good at tensing. Right? Like, I get, like, taking him... Like, I've done flights like that as a kid. But usually, what my parents did was, like, they took it over multiple days. Because, like, flying an 11-hour flight with a toddler is so horrible. It's terrible. Like, I would never do that. Like, you would have your overlay in, like, Chicago or New York or Florida or something. Like, one of the East Coast cities. And, like, you would get a hotel, and then your flight would be the next day. Because they don't want to do 11-hour flights, because it's also hard on the pilots. Or you would do 2 flights with a switchover. It's so weird that it would just be an 11-hour flight. I don't think Twinbuns has ever taken, like, an actual flight to Europe, because it's very different than Asian flights, especially on the West Coast. Elliot didn't care much for flying his first time around. He was only 9. Wait. Okay. They were 9. So, he's 14 now, and this was years ago. Dude, that was not that long ago. If he was 9 and he's 14 now, that was only 5 years ago. You were not a little kid. At least comparatively. I remember him screaming most of the flight. Rather than being a cliche and sitting next to a crying baby, we're the people with the screaming baby. But it was a crying, oversized child instead. Overall, the flight wasn't great. It wasn't awesome. I think it'd be pretty much how you imagine an intercontinental flight would be. Oh my gosh. Times were easier then. I envy Elliot. All he has to worry about with this whole move thing is how big his new bedroom's gonna be, and which seat on the plane he gets. Me, as always, I'm overthinking things. What's my new school gonna be like? What's the house gonna be like? Will it be big? Will it not? Will it look like a horror movie set like the Stoner Shack? Will it look like the White House? I have so many questions. Will you be moving to a small town? Will Mom find a new guy? Hell, who knows? Maybe that's what she needs. A nicer man to show her a good time. Right? Like, they have, like, the stuff, what is it? They, like, have it on planes, but they'll give you the motion sickness medication if you ask for it, especially for little kids. Like, you think the flight attendants like that either? Like, we drugged up my sister when we got on planes, because she's, like, always freaked out. She still freaks out. She still takes it. A nice man to show her a good time. That could probably do her quite a bit of good. Who knows? Who was this great Aunt Deborah? Why is she important? Why have I never met her? Why did she leave the house to my mom? Also, why the hell did my mom even live in Connecticut? Seriously, I thought our family origins were based in Los Angeles. Come to think of it, Ma's never really talked about her family. Whenever any relatives were brought up, it was always Dad's talking. I looked up my trans brakes as I noticed the very large, iconic LAX sign. We've made it to hell. My hell. My slave ship. My one-way ticket to bullshit. Right? Like, he's, like, 3 years younger than you. Like, he's probably, like, you guys went to the same school. He had friends, too. He's just not being a little baby about it. Like, he's not gonna argue and fight and run away to go do drugs and drinking. Yeah, like, dude, like, he clearly likes his dad a lot and misses the relationship his mom and dad had. Like, as a child of divorce, I think I can say this. He would not be rooting for his mom to get with a new man. I'm sorry, he would be freaking the hell out. Especially if he can't handle moving. I highly doubt he can handle it, his mom's new boyfriend. We hear Elliot screams from the back seat, bouncing around. When we went to Paris, I think I threw up on the plane, didn't I, Ma? Elliot leans in the front seat. Also, why do they say Ma if they're from LA? That doesn't really make sense, especially if he thinks he's from LA and all of his family is from LA. Ma doesn't make sense. Yes, dear, I think you did, she chuckled. Why is there an exclamation point there? If she's chuckling, it's quiet. It's not going to be loud as hell, and we're excited. Yes, dear, I think you did, she chuckles. How long of a flight is it? Elliot asked. About 5 hours, sweetheart. Wait, okay, yeah, so they weren't even on the plane yet. So not even was it that it was, like, a poor tense shift? It wasn't a tense shift. She just straight up said he knows how planes look from overhead without ever being, like, taking an overhead flight. About 5 hours, sweetheart. We have a layover in Dallas. It's not straight through, I look over. No, I couldn't afford them. Half the fun of going somewhere is getting there, Elliot shouts in my face mockingly. Dad could have. Oh! Dude, again? I forgetfully say. Do you hate me or something, Brighton? Why must you always throw it in my face that your father is better than I am? Huh? Don't you think I know he has more money? Don't you think I know that your father thinks I'm just as good of a used tissue? Mom, save it, we're here. Was it a masturbation joke? Save it, we're here. Get out of the car. She throws the car into park and begins to unbuckle her car seat. What are we going to do with the car? Mom, Elliot asks as he hops out of the back seat. I'm leaving it here. The airport will eventually tow it. Maybe I'll have a way of getting it to Connecticut. But for now, it's being left here. That is big illegal. Not only will your car get towed, you'll probably get a nice big stupid fine. You can't be serious, Ma. We need a car wherever we're going. I'm trying to reason with my insensible mother. What? Your dad wouldn't leave the car here? Mom, as I said, Brian, save it. Grab your suitcase and get your ass out of the car. Now. Our flight is in less than 2 hours. Ma turns... Why are they taking a flight at like 2 a.m? Right? Honestly, if you're poor and you're moving, you don't take a plane. You also don't leave your car. You just take the car and you pay for the gas. It's probably cheaper. It just takes forever. I've never heard her speak to me this way. It's shocking. It's hurtful. Am I just being emotional? Yeah. Am I just drunk? Maybe. I'm being a bit too rough on her. I really hate the idea of moving. I mean, I I only just met and started to get to know Lynn. He seems cool. I went to get back to the pier with just him. When we were on top of that Ferris wheel, I felt like all the problems in the world just dissipated. Why did she use dissipated? We're flying southwest. Ma breaks the silence. Terminal B, gate 15. She has never been to LA. She's never been to LAX because it's in Terminal D. Like, you can actually Google this. Southwest is at Terminal D. They're always at Terminal D. Because they have, like, the way they broke up the airport for LAX, it's, like, it's always the different airports have different terminals. Or the different flights have different terminals. Yesterday, we'll be flying economy. When did you buy these flights, I asked. Yesterday, we'll be flying economy, so don't get your hopes up. It's not gonna be a luxurious flight. Dude, why didn't she get... Why didn't she just get the normal ones? Nonetheless, we almost didn't get to board the plane at all today, thanks to you being a pain in the ass. It doesn't board for another 2 hours. You guys are good. Well, I had to change our flights to a later time because you need to run off and get stoned. I'm surprised Mom could tell I had smoked. You smoked weed? Elliot asked, intrigued. Sure, I answered, and I'm a bit annoyed. Now, can we get inside? I don't want to miss our flight. Mother ejects. I feel like Twinbuns thinks she was raised poor, but she was just, like, middle class. Right? Like, you can just look up on, like, the LAX website, though. Like, if you're reading a book, like, she clearly didn't even have an editor. Because, like, how did nobody catch that? She's writing this like she is an LA native. She could have left that out. She didn't even have to say that. Like, that's what a lot of people do, like rangers do, when they don't know what terminal or gate an airport is and they don't want to look it up. They just, like, say, we're gonna miss our flight. We have to go to the terminal. We have to go to the gate. They don't specify which gate and which terminal. She always was the one to make sure whatever group she was with stayed on track. Getting through security is a breeze. Also, you take a fee out if you, like, push your flight back. There's a huge fee for that. She was always the one to make sure whatever group she was with stayed on track. Getting through security is a breeze, given it's almost 3 a.m. at this point. Ma had to rebook for a red-eye to Dallas and a morning flight into Connecticut. We get to the gate and only one other person is sitting there, which is odd, especially for LAX. This is one of the busiest airports in the world. I would figure, even given a red-eye flight, it would have at least more than a dozen passengers. As time progresses and the flight gets closer, a few more stragglers approach the gate. I've been watching as the agents fiddle with the plane as they get it ready. I was attempting to make a game out of seeing if I could find our suitcases when they were loading them to the cargo bin. Good morning, and welcome to Los Angeles International Airport. A voice chimes in the intercom. This is a boarding announcement for Flight 34B with service to Dallas-Fort Worth. Would all passengers with priority boarding please approach the gate to board the aircraft? Gather your things, boy. Also, they don't say this. They break it up into groups, so your ticket will say which group you're part of, and if you are in priority boarding, it'll say, oh, you're part of Group A, and then Group B, then Group C, and it goes up to, like, F, I think. I think for some airports, it gets even better. Crazy book? Yeah, it is. Also, hi! A voice chimed over the... Gather your things, boys, Ma says quickly. We'll be boarding soon. We're boarding Group A. Wait, no! How would they be boarding Group A if they're in economy? Economy would be last to board. Group A is, like, disabilities, veteran status, and first class. They would be in Group C minimum. I repeat, boarding Group A, welcome aboard. The PA system comes on again, but this time it's us. We approach the desk as agents as she scans the 2 passengers in front of us tickets. She then scans my mother's and then Elliot's. Elliot high-fives her as we board the plane. I stare at my boarding pass for a prolonged minute. I let out the biggest sigh of defeat I ever have, then handed her my pass. Oh, there was a missing word. Yeah. She scans it, and I continue to follow my mother and Elliot down into the plane. The aisles are small and cramped. The air is stale and has a smell I imagine an old folks' home would have. I take my seat at the back of the plane. Luckily, I'm in the window seat, so I can rest my head against the wall. Alright, I'll see you soon. I'm in the window seat, so I can rest my head against the wall. My head is pounding at this point. I feel myself coming back down to earth. The seat's cramped, and I feel my heart start to race. I'm not very good with small spaces, never have been. One time when I was little, I got lost in a McDonald's play place. The fire department was called, and it was just a great big mess. I watched as everyone else boarded the plane, sitting one by one in their seats. Luckily, it looks like the youngest person on the flight is Elliot, so I won't have to worry about a crying baby, worsening my already pounding headache. It's mostly businessmen on this flight, with a mix of cologne and aftershave slowly fills the stale aircraft air. The doors of the plane close after all the passengers have boarded. A quarter of the seats are filled, and I feel myself getting more and more shaken. The plane starts to move, and I feel my stomach move to my throat. The walls feel like they're already crushing me alive. Everyone seems so calm, but my body is telling me otherwise. The seatbelt light flashes on as a flight attendant tells us various safety procedures, but her chatter is muffled in my ears. I can't focus, and my vision is blurry. Not the fire. Yeah, like they usually do. Like the fire department is like, if they're like actually stuck. I feel like they knew where he was. They just need like have someone come get him. Especially in like a McDonald's play place, those things are like actually really, really little. I can't get out of my seat and I start to feel queasy. My mouth is dry and my pounding head isn't making it any better. We're about to take off and the ride is getting rougher and rougher. The man sitting next to me is reading a newspaper and peering at me from the corner of his eye. My face must look like hell. We're off the ground and I look out the window. Los Angeles is getting smaller and smaller as we get higher. Dude, she's so bad at it. Like, we have been on the plane for what seems like an eternity, and it's just like boarding. Like, she could just say, like, oh, they get on the plane. He's nervous. He's nervous about getting on the plane. She's just telling, like, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens next. It's not very good. My hands shake as I anxiously wait for the seatbelt light to turn off. I watch it as it blinks. The flashing orange light taunts me because I keep thinking it's going to turn off, but it doesn't. I try to distract myself by rummaging through my backpack from school. My phone is in it, but it's dead and useless this high up in the air. Dude, you don't have games on your phone? 2019? Play Subway Surfers. I look back. Does he also not, like, carry a charger on him? I look back and the seatbelt light is off. I unhinge my belt and nudge myself into the aisle, making my way to the airport lavatory. Why would he not say bathroom? You're an American. Stop trying to pretend to be British. I open the door. Before I can even close it, my head is in the toilet as I puke my guts out. Right? Like, that's what she's doing. She's just, like, putting words in. Like, why is it just, like, oh, I'm getting up to go to the bathroom? Why is it not, like, oh, I feel my stomach starting to churn as I rush to the restroom? Like, that would make more sense than, like, oh, I get up and then I throw up. Ugh. It burns from a mixture of alcohol and greasy cafeteria pizza. A flight attendant comes up behind me. Sir, are you okay? She says faintly as she places her hand on the bathroom door. I scoop my legs in and grunt as I grab the door handle. I wipe my mouth and flush. The smell's horrendous as I stand up and look in the mirror. My eyes are sunken in and my skin looks dry. Usually my face looks rather youthful, but right now I look like a wreck. My hair is greasy and it's starting to get My hair is messy and it's starting to get slightly greasy. I can't wait to take a shower when I get to wherever our new home is. I tussle my hair with my fingers, trying to make the wavy blonde locks look somewhat presentable. I failed miserably. I splash water on my face in a last-ditch attempt to feel more human. Yeah. Like, she's describing, like, all these random things that have no reason to be there. Like, she did not need to, like, describe this businessman. At all. And she doesn't need to, like overly detailed, unbuckling. Oh, now I'm standing up. Now I'm scooting to the aisle. Now I'm walking down the aisle. Like, just say he got up. Like, oh, he unbuckled his seat to rush to the bathroom because his stomach feels bad. Like, at least say that. Do it fast. It feels nice, but only lasts a few seconds before I go back to feeling like a living zombie. Opening the door, the lights of the plane feel even brighter than before. I walk back to my seat and pass out for majority of the flight. Also, if this is like a 3 a.m. flight, they dim the lights. They usually ask people to dim their lights, and you have your like, little overhead one, but they won't have like the big lights on. Because it's 3 a.m. People are trying to sleep now. I'm woken up by a flight attendant shaking my shoulder gently because we've arrived in Dallas. I feel substantially better. But I'm not. How did the the flight attendant shake his shoulder if he's sitting at the window seat next to somebody. Also, he probably would have woken up from all the noise of people getting up. I see Mom and Elliot standing at the front of the aisle, looking at me. I stand up, grab my backpack, and exit the plane. Did his mom didn't even come get him? Wake him up? They were just gonna, get off without him? We have about an hour layover in Dallas before we board our final flight. We take a seat in the terminal, a few seats away from Mom and Elliot, since he's getting fussy, and I don't... He's 14, he's not... Why is he fussy? He's 14. And I don't have the energy to deal with it. I scan the airport, trying to people watch. You should probably need to write that better. Also, there would be a hyphen between people watch, because people watch isn't an actual noun. That is it's a compound noun. Trying to people watch as entertainment to pass the time. A boy catches my eye. He looks about my age, maybe younger, and he's wearing a white button-up shirt. His hair is reddish-brown color, and he might have freckles. I can't tell because he's far away, but he looks like the kind of guy who would have freckles. He's on a laptop looking deep in thought. I pan my view past his lap. His shoes look polished and expensive. Overall, he looks he looks like he's from a different class of life than me. Would passenger Carter Hall please report to the ticket kiosk? Carter Hall, please report to the ticket kiosk. I hear the overhead click off. I've heard multiple announcements like this coming from other terminals, but this is the first one come from our loudspeaker. Right? Because LA to Dallas is about an hour-long flight. He is, drunk. I'm more why did he pair... his mom and his brother both got up, were, staring at him from the front of the aisle, and, the flight attendant had to go wake him up. Why didn't they go do it? It's so weird. I glance back to where the guy was sitting, and he's gone. My eyes trace the room frantically to find him. His bright white shirt catches my eye at the ticket kiosk at the front of the room. Carter Hall, I repeat over and over in my head as I keep him in my sight. I see him step back and smack his fist against the kiosk desk. The situation seems hostile, but they're not close enough for me to hear anything. He walks away from the woman at the desk, still saying something I can't quite hear, and walks around the corner of the airport. I lose sight of him and go back to people watching. That was kind of weird. That was a little odd. Brighton. This is the final boarding announcement for the flight 1322 with service to Bradley International Airport. Would all passengers please proceed to gate 15 for boarding? I hear over the intercom as everyone gets up. I stay in my chair for a while. I'm not waiting for anything. I'm just taking my last few seconds on the ground. I stand up as I see the boy from earlier, Carter, come around the corner and line up for my flight. I wait for a few more people to get behind him and then head for the line. As we board the plane, I can't take my eyes off him. He has a presence unlike anything I've ever felt before. He takes a seat, and I'm secretly hoping nobody takes one next to his. As I approach him and snag the chair beside him, he looks at me for a few seconds. Well, isn't this an empty-ass flight? It's 5 in the morning, and it's going Dallas to Connecticut? Oh my gosh. I see his eyes scan me up and down, and then look back down at his phone. I grab my phone out of my bag and pretend to type on it for a few minutes, making sure to hide the black screen from his view. I look over at him, waiting for him to glance back over at me. Excuse me, I say, trying to get his attention. Right? And he's, staring at him, watching him. Creepy. And then, getting on the plane, and then sitting next to him on, not a full flight. There are probably other empty seats. That's weirdo behavior. Also, wait, why is there a businessman who sat next to him on his other flight if that one was actually, super empty? He said there was only a couple other people on that flight. Why would the businessman sit next to him? That doesn't make sense either. You wouldn't happen to have an iPhone charger, would you? I ask, trying not to sound as dead as I feel. He looks at me and then reaches in his bag and hands me a white cord. I plug the cord into the USB port on the back of the chair in front of me. My phone finally turns back on, and I have many missed texts. A few are from Sid, updating me on how everyone is safe at home, and they're all just got a little slap on the wrist for loitering in an abandoned building. Right? He's taking a flight alone. Chances are he's at least 18. Even if they are in the same, age group, he's still creepy. He's still creepy as hell. Lynn texted me a selfie he and Karina took in front of the police station. I look closer and see Sid's bare white ass in the background, mooning the camera. I laugh a little too loud and Carter looks at me. I smile and look back at my phone. I feel red from embarrassment. We are now taking off, and I'm praying to God my stomach handles this flight better than before. Luckily, it's pretty much running on empty now, because I haven't eaten anything in over 24 hours. I look at Carter, and I notice him scrolling on his phone. I recognize a character on his screen. It's from a manga Elliot and I have read. Dude, this is such a self-insert character. This is such a self-insert character. Oh. Hey, I'm sorry I'm being nosy, but I recognize that manga you're reading. Is it Bleach? I say, trying to sound confident in my answer, even though I only vaguely know what the hell I'm talking about. Oh, he says as he fumbles with his phone in his hand. Yeah, it is. I just got back from a trip overseas. This stuff was popular over there. I couldn't help but get immersed. It's her insert character. She's such an insert. Dude, this book, these aren't even characters. They're just, like, little people that live in her head and control her brain. Ugh. Yeah, my little brother loves it. He's always going on and on about it. I don't know much. It looks super interesting, I say. Try not to sound too pathetic. I look at him in the eyes for the first time. I was right. He does have freckles, and his face is beet red. I quickly realize that his demeanor has changed, and his movements seem squirmy. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you, I say, trying to fix the situation. No, it's not that. You're fine, he says, running a hand through his hair. I'm just not one to really be into something like this, and hearing that over here in America, it's a little... it's something a little brother would be into has made me a little embarrassed. It's fucking Bleach! It's Bleach! It's like one of the most popular manga and anime series! Twinbuns wants to be ostracized so bad. Twinbuns needs to be other so bad. This is such a self-insert. Oh no, it's fine. My friend Sid reads stuff like this as well. Nothing like this, though, I say, quickly realizing Sid does not read manga, but full-on anime girl porn maps. Full-on anime porn girl mags. It doesn't matter, though, because I can see that this has calmed his nerves a little. The plane ride continues without a hitch. We have a few casual conversations here and there, but nothing to get excited about. You know, this wasn't that bad, he says. I look over at him, surprised by this sudden conversation. What? This flight. I've never flown coach before. My ticket got messed up, and I had no choice but to take this seat. I'm glad I did. Oh, really? Why? I asked, intrigued. This flight, from my perspective, didn't seem all that substantial. Oh my gosh. If it's an almost empty flight, they'll just upgrade people randomly. Like, they like putting people in first class as a little treat, because it makes them come back. Makes them, like, feel like the airline is better, especially Southwest. Southwest loves to upgrade people. Because I got to sit next to you, he says, looking at me. I blush and look away confused, but somewhat excited by the interaction. The plane lands, and I say goodbye to my single-serving friend Carter in Los Angeles. My new life begins right now. I'm going to save this for next time. I'll do this again, but it's already been an hour and a half. My voice is starting to get mumbly. That was so bad. That was, like, really, really bad. Okay, this was supposed to be the second edition, so it was supposed to have all the spelling errors and corrections fixed, but it didn't. It was all still really, really bad. Oh my gosh, my notes on this, put out a third edition and actually fix it. And don't show us what he's doing, and don't tell us why he's feeling the way he does. Show us how he's feeling. Tell us, oh, he's jittery. He's jittery from the nerves. He's rocking. He's rocking because he's drunk. I can't wait to hear about the alleged essay scene that got written off. Really? Oh, now I'm even more sad. I'm a little more sad that that's not in this one. I feel like I got ripped off. I ordered the first edition, and they sent me this one. I bought the first edition is actually more expensive somehow, even though it's paperback. Oh. That was bad. That was really bad for the first 2 chapters. A lot of unnecessary stuff happened, and you don't quite know what kind of character Brighton is yet. It's been 2 chapters. We should already know, like, sort of his personality, but he kind of seems like he's nothing. He's supposed to be, like, a self-insert. You're supposed to be him. But he's also incredibly boring and stupid. I don't know if it's in this one, but someone said it was never addressed. It probably is in here, because she skipped over, like, a lot of stuff, and she doesn't take criticism about fictional assault. I highly doubt she fixed it. I hope not, because that would be really fun to cover. This is so bad. Man, it was something. Also, like, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the new character. Oh, I just realized the camera was upside down the whole time. I just realized that this was upside down. You were supposed to... Oh, not that one. Oh, hold on. I just realized that was supposed to be the other way so you could read it too. Oopsie. Oopsie. That was supposed to be like this. Oops. I didn't know that was upside down that whole time. That's awkward. I'm not that good of a streamer. No, why would it be upside down on purpose? I think I just forgot to change it. I set it up all on my laptop, but my laptop sucks at streaming. So I decided I was going to do this on my boyfriend's gaming computer. Oopsie. No, it was supposed to be like this. I can't believe I forgot to change that. I might just actually be really stupid. That's okay. I'll change it when I edit it. I'll just put the whole overlay upside down too. Oh, I can't believe I did that. That's embarrassing. Yeah, that was a really bad. That was so bad. Like, that was bad for the first 2 chapters. Because, like, nothing happened. You could have condensed all of that down to, like, 2 paragraphs. Like, I would have dedicated the first chapter, maybe, to the flight. Him realizing, oh, I'm moving. Him being on the flight. And then doing it, like, as, like, oh, what is it called? A flashback to him being drunk. Like, give illusions in the first chapter. Like, oh, he doesn't feel good. He feels sick. And make the reader think, oh, he's so nervous about moving. And then in the second chapter, when he's revealed that he ran away at first, and he was drinking and he was smoking weed, oh, he feels like shit because he was drinking. And it would probably land better. It would also make a very good joke. It would actually be like some form of comedy in this book. Because this joke really wants to be funny. Cut out the mom telling him no. Cutting out no warning. Yeah, like, make it so, like, she did tell him, like, a week ahead at least. Like, she called him up, or she told Sid's grandmother. Yeah, and, like, he's doing it while she's coming back. That way he has, like, an actual good reason to do it, and he decided, you know what, I'm gonna go out with a bang. I'm gonna do what my friends do. It probably would have been better. You know what? After I read this whole book, I'll rewrite it. I'll rewrite the whole book. I'll do it, like, start to finish. I'll just rewrite it. And then I'll publish it myself. Because this is, like, so bad. Ugh. Because, like, this isn't a bad concept. Like, it's a pretty good start. I just feel like this is a first draft. This reads like a first draft. Maybe a second draft. But things need to be moved around. A couple things need to be changed. I think Chancha's name needs to be changed. And not just because it's racist, but just because it's such a stupid name. And it's also really close to what's-her-face? Karina? Her name is also spelled really weird. I'd probably change the spelling of that. Because 2 C names right next to each other, it gets hard to read. Especially out loud. Honestly, I think you could cut out Karina. She doesn't, like, do very much. Karina isn't doing anything in this story. You want to limit your characters down to the bare minimum, because the more characters you have, the more you have to keep track of, and the more readers have to keep track of, and the more personality they each have to make them distinct. And none of those friends were very distinct. Yeah. I think she changed Karina to be the one that spells with spice, because the multiple reviews said that Chancha was the one who was described to smell of spice. I think she changed it around to, like, get away with it. But I think you could have just cut out Karina or Chancha and, like, had it be one character and, like, combine them. And then give them a different name, because it's a stupid-ass name. And, like, maybe dive in more into, like, who Lynn is and, like, his relationship with Brighton, because it seems like there was gonna be something there. Don't make it so, like, he just joined the group. Make it so he's been there for a while, but he was just starting to connect with Brighton, and, like, allude to maybe a relationship starting, because that would make more sense. It was, like, that was really bad. But it's, like, it wouldn't be bad if it was a first draft. Literally, like, their fanfiction, no woman has ever personally or contributes to the story unless absolutely necessary and can't be met. Yeah, because they really didn't contribute very much. Like, Chancha was the driver, and Karina, I don't think Karina even had a speaking line. I don't think either of those two had a speaking line. Lynn got speaking lines, Sid got speaking lines, but the two girls did not. I think that's weird. But I think, yeah, I don't have very much to say. Like, there wasn't a lot to go off of other than this reads like a first draft. This is not a very good book. Ugh, that was so bad. Well, at least this is just the first one. I'll do another stream. Probably, like, another couple days. So I think, how long was these chapters? Because they were kind of long. They're probably gonna get into that later. If it doesn't, I think that kind of confirms that this is a first draft. And I think, like, the way she describes abuse, I don't think she's ever had anyone who was physically abused, because usually you don't have bruises under your ribs. Like, your rib cage isn't gonna be what's bruised. Usually it's gonna be, like, your arms, your legs, your face. Like, you'll have hand marks on your neck. Like, there's other ways to, like, show it. Like, there's a lot of ways to show child abuse within a story without it being, like, weirdly sexual. Like, she sexualized that abuse by, like, mentioning, like, oh, she had bruises under her bra. Like, also, why was he looking? Oh, that was really rough. That was rough. I'll edit this tonight and probably have it up by tomorrow. Cut out a lot of my breathing. I don't think Sunny personally knows anybody who has been abused. Because abuse, you usually show that a lot in personality, especially within a story, because abuse isn't just physical. Especially, like, physical abuse isn't just physical. He is just a creep, that's his personality. It might just be. But, like, physical abuse isn't just, like, oh, bruises. You have, like, a personality change. You do things because of it. You, like, try to hide it. If she has bruises and she knows about them on her ribs, she's not gonna wear crop tops and raise her arms. She's gonna hide it, because clearly she wants to hide it. She's obviously not showing it off on purpose, and she doesn't tell anybody about it. She's hiding it. Like, the narrative made that clear. She's not showing them off. That's okay. Alright. I'm gonna end the live. Have a good one. I actually have to open YouTube for that. Alright. Bye-bye!